Hello friends, no? So for today we will be discussing the another topic for applications of derivatives, no? So this is known as the radius of curvature, no? So the radius of curvature, or the ROC, it is defined as the reciprocal of a curvature, no? But what is a curvature? So if we're going to look at this graph, no? So ayan, zoom ko lang ng kaunti. So we have this function y is equal to f of x, which is the representative function of our all of the functions that we can think of, 'di ba? Then at a certain part, no, certain parts of the graph of this function, uh, if you're going to plot or insert a circle, no, on top of the function, no, a portion of that graph will lie exactly on the perimeter of the circle or the circumference of the circle, no. So yung part na nag-overlap, no, as we can see here from this point, no, burahin ko yung reference ko so you can see. So from this point going to this point, no, ay yung tinatawag natin na curvature. Okay? Then, the radius, no, from the imaginary center of the imaginary circle, which we will denote as C, no, going to the distance from the center going to the circumference of the circle or on the curvature is what we know as the radius of curvature, denoted by the Greek letter rho, no. So yung point na kung saan yung point on the curvature where the radius connects the center and the curvature is just a point P, no, representative point P. So yan yung mga symbols natin. So we have here K is the curvature, rho is the radius of curvature, and C is the center of curvature. So we have formulas, no, that we are going to use to compute for the radius of curvature. Now we have here rho is equal to quantity of 1 plus the first derivative squared, no, the quantity raised to 3 over 2 all over the absolute value of y double prime. So sabi nga natin, no, sorry. Uh, we have the curvature, or rather the rho. The radius is the reciprocal of the curvature. So if we're going to exchange this, the curvature is also equivalent to the reciprocal of the rho. So hence, the curvature is equivalent, no, to the formula, the absolute value of y double prime over the quantity of 1 plus y prime squared raised to 3 over 2. No, so yan yung dalawang formulas na need natin tandaan when we are dealing with radius of curvature. So we have here our first example. So we have here our first example. Find the radius of the curvature for y is equal to 5x cubed minus x plus 14 at x is equal to 2. So we have here our given function, diba? Our y is equal to 5x cubed minus x plus 14. So let us utilize our formula for the radius of curvature since yun yung ating hinahanap, diba? So we have rho is equivalent to quantity of 1 plus y double prime, y prime squared, sorry, y prime squared raised to 3 over 2 all over y absolute value of y double prime. So we have here, no, ano yung kailangan natin kunin? Of course, we have our y prime and our y double prime. So saan natin kukunin yan? Of course, doon sa ating function, no? So we have our original function, rewrite ko lang. Y is equal to 5x cubed minus x plus 14. Okay, so let's get the first derivative. Excuse me. So we have y prime is equal to 5x cubed, no? So let's apply chain rule here. 5 times 3x raised to 3 minus 1. Diba? The derivative of x is just simply 1. Then minus the derivative of x in respect to x is 1. Okay, then we have 14. The derivative of that is 0. No, so therefore we have y prime is equivalent to 15 x squared minus 1. Now simplifying our expression stated above. So we have our y prime, then let's get our y double prime. So y double prime, again, this is chain rule. We have 15 times 2x raised to 2 minus 1. The derivative of negative 1 is just simply 0. Okay? So, simplifying, we have y double prime is equivalent to 30x. 2 minus 1 is 1, so okay na yung 30x natin. Okay, so we have here our y prime. No? So, this is our y prime. This is our y double prime. So, plugging it to our equation, no? So, we have rho is equivalent to 1 plus our first derivative, that is 15x squared minus 1 quantity squared raised to 3 over 2 all over the absolute value of 30x. So, alam naman natin na the absolute value of 30x is just simply 30x. No? So, expand natin yung nasa taas. So, we have rho or y, or rho is equal to 1 plus, so what is 15x squared quantity squared? That is 225. Tama ba ako? So that's 225 x to the fourth. Then we have minus 30x squared plus 1, no? Yan yung ating first derivative, no? So quantity raised to 3 over 2 over 30x. So simplifying, we have further 1 plus 1, we have 2. So we have 225 x to the fourth minus 30x squared plus 2. So converting our three halves, no, sa radical. So this is quantity cube but squared. Ayan. Over, of course, 30x. Okay, so let's solve, no? Let's bring out our calculator. Ayan, so let's just type our equation here, no? So we have the square root of 225x to the fourth. Then we have minus 30 alpha x squared plus 2 quantity cube. Okay, all over 30x. So just press calc. What's the value of x? So going back to our given, ang sabi dun sa given natin, we have x is equal to 2. So we're going to put 2. So 2 equals, so we have 3,424.458 458 units. So we have our rho is equivalent to 3,424.458 units. Since radius lang naman yung pinag-uusapan natin, no? So, hindi yan naka-square kasi area yon. Definitely hindi yan naka-cube kasi volume yon, no? So, this is our answer. So, ganun lang, no? Straightforward. Just use our formula, then substitute. No? So, paano kapag hinahanap na yung curvature? Tapos, let's say, no, pinasolve radius of curvature and the curvature itself. So, ang pwede nyong gawin, no, is just simply get the reciprocal of the rho, no? So, alam naman natin that curvature is equivalent to the reciprocal of rho. So, therefore, this is equivalent to 3,424.458 raised to negative 1. Diba? So, therefore, our curvature is equivalent to, anong curvature natin? Just press yung x raised to 1. Ayan. Then, answer equals. So, we have 292.017 micro units. Now, yung sa taas, actually, we can express this in kilo units, no? So, if we're going to express this in kilo units, so, ano niya lang, baba ko lang yung calculus saglit. Oops, sorry. So, roughly, this is equivalent to 3.424 kilo units. So, since this is a physical quantity, kaya mahalaga yung unit natin, no? Ayan. Unless the answer is an equation. Of course, kapag ka equation, hindi mo naman, kahit hindi mo na ilagay. No? So, ayan, that is how we get the radius of curvature. No? So, another example. We're asked to find for the radius of curvature at any point of the cycloid x is equal to a times theta plus sine theta, and y is equal to a times 1 minus cosine theta. No, so this is, by the way, radius of curvature can be an application of another application, no? Ano yung other application? Ano yung application nito? I mean, what kind of application is this an application? No, so remember parametric equations, no, yung nauna nating diniscuss, 'di ba? Yung ating x and y dito are parametric equations as you can see. Okay, ang ating parametric variable is theta, no? Makikita naman natin diyan. So kapag ganito na dalawa yung given na functions natin, of course we cannot use our first formula. No, so we have a separate formula for this one. So the radius of curvature is equivalent to, we have x prime squared plus y prime squared raised to 3 over 2 all over the absolute value of x prime y double prime minus y prime x double prime. No, so yan yung ating formula kapag dalawa yung given function natin, or nevertheless this is or yung given natin is a parametric equation. No, so let's identify what is our x prime, our y prime, our x double prime, and our y double prime. So we have our x is equivalent to a times theta plus sine theta. A is a constant, no? So tatandaan niyo yan. Y is equivalent to a times 1 minus cosine theta, as well as in this function, a is a constant. No? So if we're going to get the derivative, okay, so we will arrive with x prime is equivalent to a, of course that is a constant, multiplied to the derivative, or rather derivative of theta. Sorry, carried away. So, the derivative of theta in respect to theta, that is 1. Diba? The derivative of sine theta in respect to theta, that is plus cosine theta. Yeah. Then, nakuha na natin yung first derivative. Let's get the second derivative. Okay, so therefore we have x double prime is equivalent to a. The first derivative, the derivative of a constant is always 0. So kahit hindi nyo na isulat. So we have the derivative of cosine theta, that is negative sine theta. O sige, sulat na natin, no? 0 minus sine theta. Okay, so re-simplifying this function, we have negative a sine theta. So this is our x double prime. Ano nga yung kailangan natin ulit? We have our x prime and we have our x double prime. Paano naman yung y prime? No? So ganun pa rin, same process. Okay, so we have y prime, we have a times 0. The derivative of cosine theta is negative sine theta. Ayan. So, simplifying, negative times negative, that is positive. So, y prime is equal to a sine theta. Bakit siya naging a sine theta lang? No, kasi 0 is 0. So, any number added to 0 is equal to itself. Kaya, sine theta na lang. Times a, we have a sine theta. Then, we have y double prime. So, therefore, we have y double prime is equivalent to a cosine theta. So, we have our y prime and we have our y double prime. Yan. So, now we can use it to plug in our equation. No? So, we have rho is equivalent to, we have x prime squared. So, we have a times 1 plus cosine theta quantity squared. Then we have plus y prime squared, that is a sine theta squared quantity raised to 3 over 2. All over, we have the absolute value of x prime y double prime. No? So, we have a times 1 plus cosine theta times y double prime, that is a cosine theta. Then we have minus our y prime x double prime. No? So we have a sine theta multiplied to negative a sine theta. So wag niyo madaliin na ma-simplify agad on your own kung hindi kayo sigurado, no? So or hindi kayo gamay pa. No, okay lang kahit medyo mabagal, no? Basta practicein niyo para bumilis kayo. So what are we going to do with this one? Simplify natin, distribute natin tong 2 dito at saka dito as well. Then with this one also. So dito at saka dito. No, so sa baba naman, a times a is we have a squared. Okay, then we have cosine, distribute natin dito at saka dito. So we'll have cosine theta plus cosine squared theta. Then we have negative times negative, that is positive. A times a is a squared. Sine squared times sine squared is sine squared. Sine theta plus sine theta times sine theta is sine squared theta. Ayan. Okay? So, we have therefore rho is equivalent to the quantity of a squared times, expand natin itong binomial na to, 1 plus cosine theta quantity squared. So, we have 1 plus 2 cosine theta plus cosine squared theta. Yan na yun. Then, we have plus a squared sine squared theta raised to 3 over 2. Okay? All over, we have a squared times cosine theta plus cosine squared theta. Ayan. Then we have plus a squared sine squared theta. Okay, so common si a sa numerator as well as with the denominator. However, hindi natin sila pwede i-cancel. Bakit? We have our restriction on our exponent 3 over 2. We still need to distribute 3 over 2 first, no, before tayo mag-cancel, no. So, factor out ko muna si a squared both from numerator and denominator. So, we will have the quantity of a squared times 1 plus 2 cosine theta plus cosine squared theta plus sine squared theta. Okay? Quantity raised to 3 over 2. All over. So we have a squared times cosine theta plus cosine squared theta plus sine squared theta. Ayan. Okay, so what's our next step, no, on this one? So review tayo ng kaunti on our trigonometric identities. No? So we have different trigonometric identities, right? So we have the Pythagorean identity, the negative identity, the reciprocal identity, quotient identity, so on and so forth. So, anong mapapansin ninyo? Mayroon tayong isa dyan na identity. Ano kaya yon? Sige, you can pause this video and think of it. Yes, no? So, I presume you have already paused and think of it. And yes, tama ka, no? So, we have cosine squared theta and sine squared theta is equivalent to 1, no? So, yun yung lalagay natin dito sa review, actually. Cosine squared theta plus sine squared theta is equivalent to 1. Diba? So, therefore, this is equivalent to 1. Also, with the denominator, this is equivalent to 1. So, simplifying, we have a squared times, we have 1 here, so 1 plus 1, that is 2, plus 2 cosine theta. Okay? Raised to 3 over 2. Of course, nandun pa rin yan. Di pa naman natin dinidistribute. Over a squared times cosine theta plus 1. Okay? So, yan na yung ating simplified expression. Next step, let us distribute our exponent. So, we have, this one is raised to 3 over 2. Also with this one. So alam naman natin, no, if we have a raised to m raised to n, 'di ba? This is equivalent to a raised to m times n, 'di ba? So we have 2 times 3 over 2, cancel na yung 2. So therefore we'll have a cube multiplied to, of course, we have common yung 2 natin dito. So we can factor it out, but we need to include one exponent. No? I mean, kokopihin natin exponent natin upon factoring out. So we have 2 raised to 3 over 2. Okay? Then we have 1 plus cosine theta raised to 3 over 2. Okay? So all over a squared times cosine theta plus 1. Okay? So, pwede na natin ngayon i-cancel yung a, no? So, 3 minus 2 is 1. So, mag-iiwan ka ng isa sa taas. Diba? Tapos, 2 raised to 3 over 2, this is equivalent to 2 square root of 2. 2 square root of 2. And we have 1 plus cosine theta raised to 3 over 2. Pwede natin i-dissect tong exponent natin. Now, this is actually equivalent to 2 over 2 plus 3 over 2. No? So, 2 over 2 is 1. So, we can rewrite the top part as a times 2 square root of 2. Okay, multiplied to 1 plus cosine theta. Quantity raised to 1. So, di na natin sulat yung exponent niya. So, we have, this one will become, instead of 3, this should be 1. Ayan. So, okay na tayo dito. So, kay 1 half naman, no? So, we have 1 half is equal to square root. So, we have square root of 1 plus cosine theta. All over cosine theta plus 1. So, as you can see, no? Pwede na natin i-cancel yung cosine theta plus 1. Dito. Ayan. So, therefore, we will have a times 2 square root of 2. Okay? Square root ng ano? Ng 1 plus cosine theta. Okay? So, is this already our final answer? Can be, but may nakikita pa akong isa pang pwede nating i-simplify. No? So, review lang ulit. Another trigonometric identity. No? So, as you can remember, no? So, if we have cosine 1 half theta, half angle formula, di ba this is equivalent to the square root of 1 plus cosine theta over 2? Di ba? Yan yung kanyang equivalent. So, since we already have 1 plus cosine theta squared, cosine theta here, so pwede akong mag-multiply na lang ng square root of 2 over square root of 2. Ano yung gagamitin ko dyan? Yung denominator na square root of 2. Isasama ko sa square root ng 1 plus cosine theta para ma-simplify ko siya as cosine 1 half theta. So, applying that one, so we'll have a times 2 square root of 2 times square root of 2. Saan ang galing to square root of 2 na to? Dito sa numerator nung minultiply natin na equivalent to 1. Diba? Then we have times itong buong to. Diba? Yan nga yung ating cosine 1 half theta. So we have cosine 1 half theta. Ayan. Okay, so simplifying, no? So square root of 2 times square root of 2 will just give us 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So therefore, our final answer, the radius of curvature at any given point is equivalent to 4a. Okay, ito na yon, a. This one is just equivalent to 4. No? So hence 4a cosine 1 half theta. This is the radius of curvature of the function at any given point x or given point. No, wala pa lang binigay na variable. Okay? So, that's how we simplify functions. No? So, kung mapapansin niyo, no, hindi tayo masyado nag-calculus actually. No? Dito lang sa unang part just to create our whole formula. Then, what we all did was algebraic manipulation and simplification. No? May konting trigo, no, yung mga sa mga identities natin. So, ayan. Okay? So, that's for example number 2. So, let's have our last example, no? So, sabi dito, Find the points of the parabola y squared is equal to 8x at which the radius of curvature is 125/16. So in this case, hindi given kung ano yung point but instead ano ang given natin? Our radius of curvature. Okay, so we will be using this one. So rho is equal to 125/16 which is equivalent to ano? We have 1 plus y prime squared, 'di ba? Raised to 3/2. Ang laki nung ano ko. Ayan, 1 plus y prime squared raised to 3/2 all over the absolute value of y prime, y double prime rather. Ayan. So, wala na pala value, wala na pala. Ayan. So, we need to find our y prime and our y double prime. Saan natin siya kukunin? Of course, doon sa given equation ng ating parabola. So, we have y squared is equal to 8x. So, let's apply the derivative. So, anong klaseng differentiation gagamitin natin dito? Sige nga. Since we have we have our y has an exponent of 2. So, pag may exponent greater than 1 si y or less than 1, ang gagawin natin is implicit differentiation. So, the derivative of y squared is equivalent to 2y prime. Ba chain rule lang yan. So, we have y squared. Isipin niyo ano to? U raised to n. Diba ang derivative ng u raised to n is n? Diba? Ang derivative is nu raised to n minus 1 du. So, in this case, ano ang n natin? We have 2 times u, that is y, raised to n minus 1, 2 minus 1. Then, the derivative of y in respect to x is y prime. So, 2 minus 1 is 1. So, we have 2y prime. Ito na yun. Okay? So, our 2y prime is equivalent to the derivative of 8x in respect to x is simply 8. So, divide both sides no, by 2y. Ayan. So, therefore, our y prime is equivalent to 4/y. No, ganyan lang siya. Okay, so, we have our y prime. Let's get the y double prime. So, let's get the derivative. So, again, implicit differentiation. So, our 4y can be rewritten as 4y raised to negative 1. So, we have y double prime is equivalent to 4 times negative 1 times y raised to negative 1 minus 1 times y prime. Now, this is our k, this is our n, this is our u, this is our n minus 1, and this is our du. No? Ayan. No, chain rule lang yan. So, simplifying, we will have y prime, or rather, y double prime is equivalent to negative 4y raised to negative 2. Negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. Then, we have y prime. However, di ba, sa derivatives, hindi pwedeng mayroon kang derivative sa loob ng isa pang derivative. So, what we will do is we will substitute the value of y prime, which is, 4y raised to negative 1. So, hence, we have y prime is equivalent to 4y raised to negative 1. So, therefore, we have negative 4y squared times 4y raised to negative 1. So, therefore, we have negative 16y, negative 2 plus negative 1, that is negative 3. So, this is simply equivalent to negative 16 over y cubed. This is our y double prime. Okay, so yan ang ating y prime, ito ang ating y double prime, ito ang ating y prime. No, so game pwede na natin siya i-substitute, no. So we have 125/16. This is our rho, 'di ba? Ayan, this is equivalent to 1 plus 4y raised to negative 1 squared raised to 3/2 all over the absolute value of negative 16 over y cube. So, alam naman natin na kapag meron tayong absolute value, matatanggal si negative. Diba? Ayan. So, therefore, we will have rho, or hindi na natin babanggitin si rho. We have our 125/16 is equivalent to 1 plus, distribute natin si 2 here and here. So we'll have 16 y raised to negative 2, di ba? Quantity raised to 3 over 2 all over 16 over y cubed. Okay, so multiplying both sides, no? Multiplying the equation with 16 over y cubed para makancel natin sino? Si denominator ng buo. Diba? So, therefore, we have 125 over 16 times 16 over y cubed is equivalent to 1 plus 16 over y squared. Diba yun yung equivalent ng raised to negative 2? Quantity raised to 3 over 2. Okay, so cancel, cancel. Then, para matanggal natin si 3 over 2, i-erase ko yung ating buong equation sa 2 over 3 naman. Kasi 'di ba? Remember, 2 over 3. If we have exponent of an exponent, i-multiply lang natin dalawa. Eh kapag nag-multiply tayo ng isang number to its reciprocal, 1 yung lalabas. Tama? So, also with this one, this will be 2 over 3. So, therefore, we have 125 over y cubed raised to 2 over 3. Okay, so this is equivalent to 1 plus 16 over y squared na lang. So, cancel na to. Ayan. Okay, so further simplifying, no? So, alam naman natin na yung 2/3. This can be expressed as 1 over 3 times 2. Tama? So, pwede nating erase yung ating cube root sa square. No? So, therefore, we will have the cube root of 125 over y cube. Saan nanggaling yun, sir? Dito. No? Then, quantity squared. Saan nanggaling squared? Ito naman. Okay? So, this is equivalent to 1 plus 16 over y squared. Okay? So, 125 is a perfect cube. And, of course, y cube is a perfect cube. No? So, this can be simplified as 5 over y. Sorry. 5 over y quantity squared is equivalent to 1 plus 16 over y squared. Okay, so loss of exponents, if we have a over b raised to m, diba this is equivalent to a raised to m over b raised to m. Ganun din yung gagawin natin dito. So we'll have 25 over y squared is equivalent to 1 plus 16 over y squared. So, para mas madali natin simplify, dapat ma-eliminate natin yung denominators. Diba? And how can we do that? By multiplying y squared. No? So, cancel to, cancel to. Magkakaroon ka ngayon ng y squared dito. Ayan. No, y squared na yan. So, therefore, we have 25 is equal to y squared plus 16. So, to compute for the value of y squared or y, no, so we have y squared is equivalent to 25 minus 16. Tinranspose ko lang to sa kabila. Then, I applied reflexive property of equality para magkabaligtad sila nang hindi ako nagpapalit ng signs. Okay, so we have y squared is equivalent to 9. 25 minus 16 is 9. So, let's get the square root. So, sige nga, if magaling talaga kayo sa high school mathematics, what is the square root of 9? What is the square root of 9? Of course, this one will cancel. Diba? So, the square root of 9 is, that is 3. Diba? Actually, no. No, kulang tayo, kulang. Hindi naman mali, pero may kulang. So, ano ang sagot dito? Positive, negative 3. Okay, so what does these two signs indicate? Remember guys, ang function natin is a parabola. And ang parabola, mirror image nung top niya, yung bottom niya. Or yung right niya, yung left niya. Depende kung nasan yung axis. Tama? So, meaning, if we're going to get the radius of curvature, particularly somewhere in the middle, no, in the middle of the graph, yung point sa taas can be reflected sa point sa baba. with having the same radius of curvature. Diba? The idea behind it. Parang ganito. If this is my Cartesian coordinate plane, let's say this is the center of the parabola. Okay? And I am going to draw, no? Ang pangit. Yan. Kumari na lang pantay yung ating parabola, no? So, let's say no, this is the center of the imaginary circle. Okay? Then, if I am going to set this one, no, as my radius of curvature, then this is point P. Okay? Yung tawag dito, this is called conjugate in higher mathematics. Pero yung reflected point niya sa baba ng x-axis, let's say this one. So this is, let's say, ayan. So, yung distance niya from the center going to this point is actually the same radius of curvature. Diba? Mirror image sila. So, yun yung gustong sabihin na tong y na dalawa yung ating sign. No? So, going back to the parabola, because this is only the y coordinate, so we need to find the x coordinate as well. Kasi points nga yung pinapahanap. Diba? So, we have our function y squared is equal to 8x. Tama ba ako? Oh, y squared is equal to 8x. So, let's just substitute the value of y squared, which is kanina nakuha na natin, di ba? Y squared is equal to 9. So, we have 9 is equal to 8x. Divide both sides by 8. Therefore, what's the value of x? No, that is, cancel to. So, therefore, we have 9 over 8. Paano yun, sir? Isa lang yung x ko pero dalawa yung y ko? Actually, if we're going to look at the graph, that is very, very possible. Diba? So, they share actually the same x value. Ayan, no? So, this is our x. Ayan. So, with that, no? Ano yung sagot natin? Since we're looking for points, no? The answer, hence, our answer, the points are so we have 9 over 8 at saka positive 3 and 9 over 8 negative 3. Okay? So this is our answer. Ayan. Okay, so that's it. No, that's it for the radius of curvature. I hope guys, you guys learned something. No, so thank you very much for listening. So stay safe, God bless, and see you around.